Don't waste your time. The doggone girl is mine. She is mine. No, 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 she is mine. The girl is mine. The girl is mine. The girl is mine. The girl is mine. Mine, mine. Yeah, she's mine. Mine, mine. Don't waste your time. Bow, now, now, now. Yeah, the doggone girl is mine. Literally, dude, that is an underrated track. That's an underrated track. Imagine the concept of this. Imagine the concept. Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney literally did a collaboration. They did a duet. And the song is literally chill as fuck. And it's literally like the calmest little like yacht rocky beat. And they do a duet fighting over a girl. And then there's a portion of the song that they literally like talk to each other. Like, what? And we're not talking about this song every day. How's this song not? Like, I obviously know it's like it's a big fat hit. But I also am like, I feel like people don't talk about The Girl Is Mine. And they should talk about The Girl Is Mine because The Girl Is Mine is literally one of my favorite Michael Jackson's tracks. Top 4 Letterboxd Michael Jackson tracks, go. Okay, Thriller. Like, come on. You gotta put Thriller there, dude. There's not a sexier song than Thriller. And I know I probably said that already on the pod, but it's the fucking truth. Literally, the song Thriller, the very end when it's just that beat. Oh! When it's just that beat. And then they're literally just like, that one guy with like a deep ass voice is talking. He's like, darkness sprouts among the air, or whatever he does. It's not even a British accent, but you know what I'm talking about. Dude, literally, the way that I move when I hear that, you've never seen anything like it. In a non-derogatory way. In a sexual way. Because I'm actually a sexual being. And y'all don't think that. Y'all don't see that. Actually, that's not true. I don't know how you see me. But I'm a sexual being. And especially when Thriller comes on, that's my sexuality. That's my sensuality, actually. Okay, so Thriller, literally The Girl Is Mine. I don't give up. It's The Girl Is Mine in my Letterboxd top 4. I need to put a ballad in there. Literally, this isn't not a ballad. Off the Wall. Off the Wall. I don't know if that's like a big ass hit. I know it was at the time, but I'm saying now, if I'm like, do you know Off the Wall by Michael Jackson? I don't know if you'll know that. But that groove, baby, that's the thing. Michael Jackson was groovy. He was like Austin Powers, like groovy, baby. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson was that. And that's why he'll always live on musically. Thriller, The Girl Is Mine, Off the Wall. My last favorite. Oh, there's this song, I Just Can't Stop Loving You. Dude, what's the one where he's like, oh, ba-la-la-la-la-la. What's that song? That's not the same song. Oh, that's how it starts. Mm-hmm. Don't stop till you get enough. That is actually my number 4. Because honestly, I know Michael Jackson has gorgeous, gorgeous ballads. But I don't know. Those are the songs I listen to the most. Those are my favorite Michael Jackson songs. And that's the thing about favorites and Letterboxd Top 4 is it's actually about personal preference. And that's something that Matt Rogers said on the Lost Culture Research podcast that I never forgot. He said, like, look, the thing with the Letterboxd Top 4 movies is, like, I'm not a fucking cinefucking-phile, right? I don't know, you know, this has the best intro and this has the best performance. I don't know A, B, and C, and D. But what I do know is I know what my personal favorite movies are. And favorite, even the concept of favorite is interesting because favorite does not necessarily mean the thing that you do the most, right? Like, I love The Virgin Suicides, right? I love that movie. I've only seen that movie like 3 or 4 times, but it means so much to me and I relate to it so much, and everything about the femininity of that movie and the calmness and the melancholiness and the sadness and like the unknowingness of life, like everything about that fucking movie. And also like fucking Fontaine, bitch. But don't fuck the actor that plays fucking Fontaine, because literally that actor is the hottest fucking guy in the world. And I'll never forget the red carpet interview with Kirsten Dunst, where this woman was like, hey, aren't you so lucky that you get to kiss Josh Hartnett? That's his name, Josh Hartnett. And she was like, isn't he lucky he got to kiss me? And that's actually where feminism was born. That's actually where I was like, she's actually fucking right. He's lucky to kiss Kirsten Dunst. And just, I mean, like, hey, like, you know? Oh my god. Literally, I just remembered something, and I like bolted back. So John Bernthal is currently on Broadway right now, in like a revival of Dog Day Afternoon. And I actually just saw a play, and I'll talk about that later, but he's in a revival of Dog Day Afternoon with the other guy from Girls and The Bear. He's a very talented actor. I think his name's like Eben Moss. I'm saying that wrong, but you know who I'm talking about. He's like a really good fucking actor. They're both on Broadway right now doing that play. And so I've been seeing a lot of John Bernthal, which is great for me because it's a little eye candy. But here's the thing, right? Is like he has so much hair on the top of his head. I'm sure on the rest of his body too, but I'm talking about the hair on top of his head too. And hey, I'm not against body hair. It's all good for me, dog. I grew up with an older sister who watched Sean Connery movies every fucking day. I know what a chest full of hair can do to a woman. I also fucking have seen Stranger Things season 3 or 4 or something. The one where Joe Keery has a fucking chest full of hair. I'm like, bitch, are you fucking kidding me, bitch? Are you fucking... Whatever. You know what? I love that he had chest hair. Because that is, like, very 80s to me. Like, the whole, like a chest full of fucking hair. It's, like, 70s and 80s to me. And so, I've seen him shirtless trust. I have seen him shirtless, every shirtless photo that he probably has. He doesn't have that much fucking chest hair all the fucking time. So he must shave his chest, or he must have put on more hair for the fucking thing. I don't know. But I know that I was watching that show with my family. My mother and sisters, and maybe even father, I don't really remember. And I remember, I'm like, oh, like watching the show, like, da-da-da-da-da. Literally, then he pops his shirt off in the middle of the lake or wherever the hell they are. And I'm literally like, I'm gonna, I was like, oh, we're not playing games this season. So this season's actually, we're getting fucking adult. We're actually getting adult this season. Okay, this isn't even what I wanted to fucking talk about. I saw a play, let's start there. I saw a play yesterday called What We Did Before Our Moth Days, and it was a play with John Early. So John Early is like my number one favorite comedian maybe of all time. And I know this is gonna sound so pretentious, but my Letterboxd top 4 comedians are John Early, Richard Perez, literally Charlie Chaplin. And I know you're gonna be like, Maya, you are the most pretentious piece of shit in the fucking world. But hear me out. Walk with me. When I was a little girl, my family would go to these events in Henderson, Nevada, where they would put on Charlie Chaplin movies and then have like a live orchestra do the music to the Charlie Chaplin movies, and they would do it like once a year and in the middle of the summer out, and it was in this amphitheater that was like open air. And it's probably some of my favorite memories of all time because I was a really little girl, and being able to laugh at something, because Charlie Chaplin didn't make any noise, obviously. He made silent films and he was a comedian. There was something so special about being a little girl and knowing that this movie I'm watching is so funny. Like, everyone is laughing their ass off. There's no words spoken. This movie has been around for 100 years, and it is so perfectly funny that it is funny then, it is funny now, and it will always be funny. No matter what civilization, without words, this movie is beautiful and heartwarming and funny to its core. It just made a huge impression on me. I don't really know what else to say. It changed my life. And I think we went like maybe three summers, but every single time it was my favorite thing to do. And it made me feel so connected to everyone around me and so connected to the world and humanity as a whole. The fact that like at some point in the world, this man existed and he was this funny. And no matter who you are, it is funny material because he's that genius of a comedian. and then honestly Lucille Ball. So I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm gonna drop some major Maya lore on you. The major Maya lore is that I when I was in fifth grade, my school did something called the Living Museum. And what that is like you dress up as a historical figure and you memorize a speech and you perform it as that person to your class. And my particular school, I don't know, or like district, I don't know, they decided to put on like a science fair, and like you basically stand still in the gym around all the other fifth graders, and you have a poster board doing a full report on this person, and you have literally memorized the entire biography of this person. And you're supposed to stand still, and then someone comes up to you, like someone's parent. They come up to you and press the button, and then you're supposed to like act like a fucking Night at the Museum actor. Like you're supposed to act like a robot, but like you're supposed to act like the person, right? It's a living museum, you know what I'm saying? Why did they make us do that? It was really hard to memorize, and it did teach you a lot about hard work, but it was actually, I don't remember it for that. I remember it for the story I'm about to tell you. So my fourth grade year, I was Audrey Hepburn, because your girl knew who she was from a very young age. Your girl knew who she was. And I had fucked up fucking teeth, and I had oval glasses, and I was chubby, and I had so many freckles. You have no idea the amount of freckles I had. I still have a lot of freckles, but especially the picture of me dressed as Audrey Hepburn, I have so many freckles. I had like a long cigarette, and my hair I had a crown, and I like did like a black dress. Like, come on, like let's not forget what we're talking to here. I've researched the greats. Anyways, fourth grade was chill, and I was Audrey Hepburn, so I was like making it a whole event for everybody. So my fourth grade teacher is probably my favorite teacher I've ever had. I think he's my favorite, because once again, he just made such an impression on me. He loved that I chose Audrey Hepburn because I was kind of the awkward chubby girl. So to be Audrey Hepburn in this scenario, he like loved that I was embracing my like this confidence. And that's really why he made an impression on me, is because he instilled confidence into his students, and he made you feel like you were like his friend. And not in an inappropriate way, in a way that like he really connected to his students in like a genuine mentoring, important teacher relationship way. I just really admired him, and I thought he was the coolest person, and he really instilled a lot of confidence in me. Anyways, my fifth grade year, I chose my Letterboxd top 4 comedian, which is Lucille Ball. Once again, I grew up watching I Love Lucy. I can tell you every single episode, and once again, similarly to Charlie Chaplin, it's literally, my Letterboxd top 4 is like these grandiose, like historical comedic figures that changed comedy, and then Richard Perez and John Early, which are like these like hyper indie they're not hyper indie, but like, you know what I'm saying? They're like modern day comedians that are like live in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? But that's why it's a personal favorite, honey. Is because those are the people that have made an effect on me. And anyways, Lucille Ball. I grew up watching I Love Lucy. Every time like a majorly iconic scene, like the chocolate machine scene, or the vitamin to vegemin scene, or like any of the iconic scenes, my mom would like pause the TV and explain the historical importance of this scene, and then we would watch it and we would laugh and laugh and laugh. Once again, one of my favorite memories in my life is watching I Love Lucy. So in 5th grade, I chose I Love Lucy. I'm gonna set the scene. We're in the gym, the school lunchroom, the gym. Everyone has their poster board set up. Everyone's dressed in their attire. So I have the red curly wig, and I have like a light blue and white gingham dress on with like an apron, and then like red lipstick. No makeup, just red lipstick. And then like white Mary Janes or some shit. So during that time, I was practicing, and I literally am like feeling wobbly as hell. And so I'm like, I need to go get a teacher. Like something's wrong immediately. And I'm walking to the teacher, and I pass out. I fall down to my head. Like I fall. on the gym floor. 4th and 5th grade were like major years for me because I was like still myself, and I was like still childlike or childish in a non-derogatory way enough that I like didn't care what anyone else thought. So you can imagine middle school for me was a fucking rough one. And let me tell you something right fucking now. I'd rather redo high school than redo middle school. And I would rather do anything else than do those two things. But I'm just letting you know, middle school's for me, like, let's just say the reason that I have any character development at all is because of middle school. Oh, God. Middle school was so bad, dude. It was so bad, dude. It was so fucking bad. Oh, my God. But 4th and 5th grade were great for me. My science teacher, who, like, him and I had a great, like, gag going, you know? At the time, he would assign us seats, and I, like, sat right in front. And him and I had a lot of good comedic banter. He took me by my arms. I'm on the ground. He took me by my arms and walked backward to the nurse's office. Luckily, the nurse's office was, like, not even a couple steps away from the gym. But he like walked me to the nurse's office, and I'm in the hallway, and the paramedics come, and my lips were turning blue, and they called my parents. And I remember when the paramedics came, like, I was completely out of consciousness, dog. I remember when the paramedics came, they were trying to wake me up, and they kept being like, what does your dad do for a living? I'm like, bitch, I don't even know that if I'm fucking awake. I'm in 5th grade. I don't know what my dad does. But I was like, okay, you need to ask me something a little bit easier if you're trying to bring me out of consciousness. I was like, I immediately give up. I want to go back to being unconscious. I don't want to get conscious if you're going to ask me hard-ass questions. I'm in 5th grade. I don't know what my dad does. Which also, speaking of which, okay, I don't even know what, no, I don't even want to talk about this. I want to talk about the damn play I saw. So I saw What We Did Before Our Moth Days, and this was a very existential play. It was 3.5 hours long, which I feel like they should have told you that before you bought the ticket, but I would have come to see it anyways because I love John Early, and I'll do anything for him. I'll lick the floor for him, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how much he means to me. Before I got there, it's a 7 p.m. play. Before I got there, I got a chocolate chip cookie and a bottle of milk from a nearby bakery. They gave me it in a plastic bag. And it is 7 p.m. Like, what do you want me to do? That is right what I eat, dude. And I actually have to eat because I have an iron deficiency and I actually need to eat. But whatever. Doesn't matter. What matters is I have this cookie. And listen, I care about theater etiquette. I'm not a bitch. I'm not a moron. I care about theater etiquette. Anyways, I'm in this predicament where it is a very silent play, and it is literally 4 actors on stage, and it is a small theater. All that's happening is they're talking. They're doing monologues. And it is a small, if someone coughs, everyone hears it. It is such an intimate theater. I cannot stress enough how small this theater was. And not in a derogatory way, in just a context way, right? So I have the cookie on my lap. I have the bottle of milk in my arm. And I'm not gonna fucking eat this cookie. Well, you know what? I started to get tired during the play because it's a long play. And it's a good play, but it's a long play. And I was like, dude, I'm hungry. I'm getting tired. I need a little sugar rush. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I have a cookie in my lap, so I'm like, okay, I can't wait till intermission. So I like a snail. And you're not gonna believe me, but I promise you this more than anything. I promise you this on if I ever have children, their lives. I promise this on them. Because I wasn't even thinking about anything else besides how quietly can I fucking get this cookie out of this bag. And let me tell you what I did. When everyone was laughing, because it wasn't like it wasn't a funny play, but there were funny lines, like sparsely. So I would wait. And then when everyone was laughing, I would move it a millicentimeter, bitch. I would move it a little bit. And then I would stop. And then as soon as everyone laughed again, I would, like, move it a little bit. And then I would stop. It took me, like, 45 minutes for me to even get the cookie out of the bag. But I got it out of the bag, so I'm like, okay, that was the hardest part. I have a sip of milk just to get me through this situation. Next to me is a girl and a boy. Or a woman and a man, whatever. And the woman immediately is uptight. I can tell you that right now. She's immediately an uptight person. Anyways, I'm like, okay, I'm home free. The cookie, like, the only sound I could possibly make is when I break off a part of this soft, gooey cookie, which is basically silent. And so I'm eating the cookie, tiny little pieces at a time. I'm like 3/4 of the cookie in, you know what I'm saying? Mind you, I am literally waiting for laughs. I'm waiting for someone to make a noise for me to even move. That is how much I care about this, you know what I'm saying? And then this woman reaches her arm across her boyfriend and touches me with a wide hand with all fingers apart. She literally does that, and she bends over her boyfriend and she goes, "Hey, do you mind being a little quieter?" And you know what I do? I like a fucking ricochet. I'm like, "Yeah." And I don't move. I don't eat my cookie. I don't drink my milk. I don't move. Turns out intermission was like 5 minutes away, but I'm literally like, be so fucking honest with me right now. There was a woman in a row in front of us who was laughing during Eddie lied. Okay, she was just laughing. Everyone could hear her. There was no reason for her laughs. There were actually uncomfortable moments that I'm like, okay, maybe she reacts to uncomfortability by laughing. Nonetheless, she's the loudest thing in the damn theater. And I was so meticulous, dog. I was so meticulous. I couldn't have been any quieter. And mind you, you can purchase drinks and snacks in the waiting room before you go in. So other people are drinking and eating alongside me. And I'm aware of this brown paper bag. I know that it's going to be loud, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So the fact that she literally did that, dog, I literally am like, know who you are? You're someone that sees someone struggling. You're someone that sees someone struggling and you look at them struggle and you're like, you know what'd be funny right now? You know what'd be hilarious? If I point at the one thing that they're scared of and I say it out loud for everyone to hear. And the way she did it, the way that she did it was like she had been, like it was a volcano and she had been waiting the whole musical, or it wasn't a musical, the whole play, the whole fucking play. Like the tension was rising, and I'm like, girl, I just like, you have to believe me. I know you're thinking, Maya, you were probably just a little too loud, and she got annoyed. You're probably thinking that, but you're wrong. Like, I would be so, I care about theater etiquette. I promise you, dude. I promise you. And also, I was paying attention to the musical. I wanted to hear what they had to say. I was engaged, okay? But I just need a little sugar rush. Sue me. Sue me. Other people are drinking wine. The whole fucking theater smelled of wine. That's how many people were drinking it. And people were eating the chips and the fucking shit that they were buying in the fucking public theater. And you're gonna pick on me? And by the way, during intermission, I run out the door. I stuff the cookie in my mouth. I gaggle and gog my milk. And I throw it away and I come back in the theater. And whatever. Okay? She didn't say anything to me after that. I didn't say anything to her. You know what happened? She saw the cookie in my lap and she assumed I'm the type of person that brings a cookie to a play. But I thought this was a normal fucking theater where, like, no one would, like, it would be loud enough that you wouldn't hear me eating this cookie. Because I've had M&Ms before, I've had popcorn before at a theater. You know, you usually can't hear it. But this particular theater happened to be so small that you could hear anything. And so I'm like, fuck, but also I'm like, I want my cookie. It's warm and gooey and I need a sugar rush and I need to eat something. And this is what I had. Like, you don't understand. And I just am like, I don't know, man. It's just, I haven't stopped thinking about it. Because I was so sure I was so silent. And it's literally kept me up. Like, I can't sleep over this situation. I can't. Anyways, the play was great, and it was great, and it was about life and the meaning of life and what happens when we die and why it doesn't even matter what happens when we die, because we're on Earth right now, and life is a moving, breathing, flowing thing, and we're all interconnected, and we're actually all vibrations. You know what I'm saying? That's what that play was about. And it was about betrayal. And it's about love. And it's about morality, actually. But it's whatever, dude. You wouldn't get it, dude. You wouldn't get it, dude. I want to talk about the Rachel Zegler, Ben Platt last 5 years thing. I saw that on Tuesday night. And it was good. I mean, people are being so critical of Ben Platt. And I'm like, I guess people don't like his quote-unquote jackhammer vibrato. I cannot express to you enough how beautiful I think Ben Platt's voice is. He wrote an album, his first album in particular. I've listened to all of his albums, but his number one hit me when I was at summer camp one year, and I was in like the beautiful mountainsides of Utah alone, and this was probably like the year that I was like really like, dude, being religious sucks. Like, it was that year. It was like angsty, Panic at the Disco, emo Maya, 13 or 14, but I have to go to this summer camp year, religious summer camp year. And so I was pretty like, I don't want to be here. So I would take Ben Platt's album, because I'm like, I'm in beautiful nature, let me make the best out of this situation, brother. And so I would listen to that album, and I would, like, walk through the nature instead of going to the stuff that I had to go to. And particularly, like, Grow As We Go, I just love his voice in that song. I love his voice. And you know what? Y'all switch up on him, because 1 minute and when he's in Dear Evan Hansen on Broadway and he's young and like, you guys barely know who he is, you guys are like, I love him, he's perfect. I mean, the fandom for Dear Evan Hansen is like the most peak theater kid devoted, this is real, this is me, this is true, like, you know what I mean? It was just like, Dear Evan Hansen fans in middle school are like some of the most intense, emotionally all over the place people I've ever met, which just makes them love even harder, you know what I mean? And y'all loved him then and loved his voice then. I've always loved his voice. So in this particular musical, he starts off the musical with like some real solid bangers of songs, and they're pretty like upbeat and like super chill, and I thought he did a gorgeous thing. Does he extend his arms when he sings? No, he always is bending his knees and bending his arms, no matter if he's meant to put his arms in the air or not. That's just the way he is. That didn't really ruin anything for me in the performance. I thought he gave a beautiful performance. I think the only thing that was questionable about the whole thing was the outfits. I'm like, what the fuck is going on up here? I understand this musical was written a while ago, like, meaning like 2010s probably, I don't know. But no, it's the 20th anniversary, so it was written in like 2006. But the movie came out with Anna Kendrick and Jeremy Jordan, I want to say the 2010s, because the fashion in that fucking musical is so insanely 2010s. It's undeniable. Like, if you want to know what people dress like in the 2010s, watch the last 5 years with Anna Kendrick and Jeremy Jordan. That is, like, peak. Like, let me paint you a picture of what she's wearing. Anna Kendrick is in a wedge brown open-toed heel. She's in a, like, over-the-knee length coral polka dot dress, a jean jacket with the sleeves rolled up, a couple silly bands in her arm, I think. A couple silly bands. Her hair is a side part. She has big ass, like, charming Charlie Francesca's earrings on. Like, the biggest, brightest, poppiest jewelry you've ever seen in your fucking life. And it's like, it's literally like teal green and then a coral, like, chevron dress. And that's what she's wearing. Jeremy Jordan in this movie is literally wearing, like, boxer briefs with, like, pigeons on them that are like bright red, and the pigeons are purple, a gray muscle tank, crazy socks, and then like Keds. That is what they're wearing. And honestly, it's so thick in the time period of being trendy that I'm like, costumes in this particular musical were millennial. Like, they weren't even Gen Z. And I'm like, as far as my knowledge, Rachel Zegler's Gen Z, so she knows these are whack-ass outfits. Why would they go millennial-ass on their outfits? But I guess if that's what you want to do, then do it. I don't know. Like, I would have chosen something else. That's the only thing I really saw wrong with the whole thing. I thought Rachel Zegler and I thought Ben Platt both gave really great performances. I think, like, it fell a little thrown together, but I thought it was kind of simple and beautiful that way. Then I saw the drama. So once again, this is a controversial movie. I really liked it. And I think people were like, it was a good setup, but I didn't like the ending. I actually love the ending. And I think the ending is just as deep as people are trying to act like it should have gotten deeper. I'm like, I actually thought it was quite deep, and y'all don't want to give it the credit that it's actually due. I thought it actually was quite deep, and I thought it was really interesting. And yes, I think there were some very exaggerated writing plot moments of what would actually happen. But here's the thing that's interesting about this movie to me is immediately the Haim girl, I think her name's Alana or Elena or something, the Haim sister in the movie, Rachel, I think her character name is, people hate her. They hate her. And you're meant to. She's meant to be annoying. And you're supposed to hate her. And let me tell you why I actually think this movie's good. It's because the selective hatred in a character is infuriating, right? And you know who has selective hatred? Everyone on the internet. Everyone. Every woke supremacist. Every Gen Z person who doesn't have the empathy for people going through different lives. You know what I'm saying? Her selective outrage is really symbolic of many things. So I see her character as people hate that character, right? They hate the Rachel character. I see her as an amalgamation of a lot of very frustrating elements of being alive today. And she's just kind of the character, the figure in the movie that holds that. Because it's called the drama. You know what the drama is? It's basically her. And she's carrying the weight of being the pot stirrer and the drama on her shoulders. So obviously, you're not supposed to like her. That being said, the movie's gorgeous. The performances are great. Robert Pattinson, let me tell you something about Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson was in Die, My Love, and he was in this movie, The Drama. Those are both films where he is acting opposite of Zendaya and Jennifer Lawrence. Can you name two bigger fucking actresses? Jennifer Lawrence holds us in the palm of her hands in terms of her capabilities. She's an Oscar-winning actress. She's gorgeous. She was in the Hunger Games franchise, which only blooms and blooms and blooms as time goes on. And actually, I'm going to talk about the Hunger Games, but after I'm done talking about Jennifer Lawrence is undeniable. I actually recently saw Silver Linings Playbook. Oh my God. Okay. She is phenomenal. She does something so interesting, and this is how I feel about Die, My Love, too. In Silver Linings Playbook and in Die, My Love, and I'm sure many performances of hers, but I'm talking specifically about those, her masculine and feminine traits are so invigorating to me. Last week I talked about trans people and how people are putting out so much hatred and bigotry towards trans people because they're afraid of themselves, right? So within that, I try not to be judgmental of myself. I love femininity, but I do have these masculine traits that, quite frankly, middle school-ish time, there starts to be interest in romantic interest and sexual interest and all those things. I kind of was whenever I see people who are super feminine, they get attraction that I want. So, but when I see masculine girls, it's or tomboys is what I would call them at the time, I would be oh, you have to be the guy's best friend. But those people don't usually date those people. They're usually just friends. And I don't really want to be friends. I want to be a girlfriend. Because at the time it was male-centered, but can you blame me? I think we all were in middle school, you know what I'm saying? I was boy crazy in middle school, even though I never even kissed a boy much later. So I feel I kind of really ingrained in myself to not be masculine, be feminine. How can you be more feminine? How can you sit more feminine? How can you look more feminine? How can you talk more femininely? How can you erase any masculinity? Because you know what's masculine? Anger. How can I not be angry? How can I always be gentle and happy and nice and kind? Because that is attractive. These are all thoughts I had as a middle schooler. But now, as an adult, I really don't want to change myself for anyone else. I want to be who I'm meant to be. I want to be Maya, no matter how masculine or feminine that is. I just want to be true to myself. So I feel like I'm really rediscovering the more masculine sides of me, and I think the more in touch I am with my masculinity, the more attractive I feel, the hotter I feel. And I feel extremely hot when I'm ultra feminine, and I love femininity. But I'm not talking about femininity. I'll talk about femininity another time, because I love femininity, and I do feel more feminine than masculine. And I feel more in touch with myself when I'm feminine, but that does not mean that I don't enjoy the masculine elements of me. And I feel like Jennifer Lawrence is unafraid, in terms of her performances, she's unafraid to be exactly herself. The more masculine traits of Jennifer Lawrence make her so much more attractive. She's so attractive. And in Die My Love, she is like almost, there's like scenes where they're practically primal animals. You know what I mean? It's a very like physically mobile film. And there are a lot of like, they're speaking with their bodies. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of scenes like that. And she is like, she just is primally authentic. I don't know how else to describe it. And I mean this, I'm saying none of this in any derogatory way in the slightest. I'm saying all of this in the most admiring way. I admire her so much. And just in terms of being so unafraid of where she falls in her authenticity. Anyways, Robert Pattinson, I love Zendaya too. And I'll talk about Zendaya another time. I'm trying to talk about one point, and that's Robert Pattinson right now. He's really gave us really great performances. He kind of held the weight of these films, because Zendaya and Jennifer are kind of giving very nuanced performances, and there kind of has to a degree, be like someone in the film, not the straight man, because in the drama and in Die My Love, he's not the straight man, but there needs to be someone reacting to these deeply emotional performances, and he's carrying a lot of that and giving a really great performance himself. Zendaya was obviously incredible in the movie as well, and the set design of that movie, the soundtrack of that movie, the beautiful shots of Boston, the feeling of that movie, I really enjoyed. And I loved the ending. And I feel like so many people saying they didn't like the ending, and I actually really liked it. Okay, I need to talk about Survivor, and then I'll be done, because I don't know how long I've been talking, but I love Aubrey, okay? And don't get me wrong, I feel like just by me saying that, it's controversial, because I don't know why. I understand Aubrey. And the fact that she didn't play her idol last night, or in this episode, she didn't play her idol, and she told everyone she was going to play her hidden immunity idol, and then she didn't. And she stayed in the game. No one really voted for her. That's a move I would have done. That's how I would have played the game. And maybe that's why I'm not on the show, but I don't know. I think that move is smart. And yes, she has to deal with the backfire socially of her saying she's going to do something and then she doesn't, because then she still has the idol. But ultimately, I think it's a move that they can forgive, and they can and now she has the opportunity to use the idol when she actually needs to use it. And I just thought that was such a smart move. And here's the thing with this game. And I don't even want to be one of those people, because I love this show and I'm seated for this season, but the honest truth is people love this show and it's lasted so long because of the foundational core idea of the show. And let me tell you something that I'm so pissed about. The fucking boomerang ass idol. I hate that. Let me tell you something that made such a fucking impression on me as a kid. Because once again, we're talking about childhood important things to me. Charlie Chaplin, I Love Lucy, and Survivor, bitch. Okay, Survivor? Literally, dog, I love this show, because there have been multiple seasons and multiple of my favorite players who it is them against everyone else in the game, and the way that they get through the fucking game and sometimes win the fucking game is by literally finding idols and winning immunity and literal individual survival. Everyone wants them out, and the second they don't have an idol or the second they don't win immunity, they're out of that game. And they, every fucking day of this fucking show, win. And they fight. And they don't stop. And they never give up. You can't do that if you have a boomerang idol. Because you find the thing that's going to propel you one more day. And then you have to give it away. So what's the point? What's the point of the individual aspect of surviving? That's not how the real world works. That's not the social dilemma or the microcosm we signed up for. You are like doing this weird ass element, and I get it. You want to make it exciting. You want to make it harder. But you know what's already hard? The social dilemma of that game. In its nuts and bolts, which is what we fell in love with as a society who loves Survivor, is what makes Survivor great. So once again, adding all these weird ass things. And their whole thing is like, we're listening to the fans. Did the fans say we want a boomerang fucking idol? I didn't vote, but I wouldn't have voted for that. Because what is the point? I can tell you like almost every single person that's been voted out so far, and most of them have found the idol and then had to give it away and then got voted out. And I can tell you right now, if they had kept the idol that they rightfully found, then they would still be in the game. And the fact that has happened multiple times, I'm like, guys, I get it. You want to do like a Billie Eilish collab, but do a Billie Eilish food auction collab. I don't care, where everything's vegan and delicious. I don't know, but don't completely mess up the game. That being said, I love Ozzy. And I actually love Ozzy more and more every day of my life. It's actually crazy. And everyone's like, his social game is so bad. His social game is getting better. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something else that made an insane impression on me as a child. The season where it was Coach versus Ozzy, and then Ozzy is like fucking winning this whole game. If you've never seen this show, Ozzy literally in Survivor, he comes back a third time. Everyone else is the first season they're ever playing. So immediately has a target on his back. He is on a tribe. It's chill. He gets to the merge, I think. And then he gets voted to exile. Once again, the individualistic nature of this show that I love. There's this thing called Exile Island, where you either get voted off the show and you go to Exile Island, and then you have like a second chance to come back in the game. Ozzy stays at Exile Island and wins every single immunity for almost the entire last half of the season, and then he gets brought back into the show. And he is going through emotional turmoil. He is so close to joining the game again. He is so close. He has to beat like 10 people. And he does it every time. And then he comes back into the game. It is the final four. Now listen to me. The final four and the final five of any reality competition game is the most intense fucking game. Because give me Dancing with the Stars, the last top five are all fucking perfect. And same with Survivor. The last top five, there's usually like a ding-dong in there, or like someone who's obviously not going to fucking win, who they're just dragging along just to be the person in the finals who's not going to win, to make them better. There's usually one of those people. But for the most part, the last four are like usually really great players that quite frankly all deserve the win. And Ozzy, this was Ozzy's season. It was his third season back. This is his season to win it. And they do the final four, and he loses the immunity and he gets voted out. And if he had made it one more round further, he would have been in the finals and won the game, because everyone would have respected the fuck out of him to vote for him to win. That was maybe the most traumatizing thing ever to watch. It is crazy that shit happened in real life. That is like a great Greek tragedy. That is like a great Greek tragedy, and it happened in real life. That is Ozzy. So y'all are being mean to him. And he actually went through something that was close to a Greek tragedy. So cool down on you, boy. Anyways, he's doing great in the game, and that's all I really care about. And that's not true. Like, I love everyone on this entire cast, and I want all of them to win to a degree. And I love so many of them. But, like, girl, I know who I am, and I'm an Aussie fan. Because I can breathe, girl. Because I have a working heart. That's why. You know what I'm saying? But it's fine. It's fine. I need to go watch the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills finale, and then who the fuck knows? I think I'm gonna be out for the night. But I love you, dude.